I think it's about time we got this out of hibernation. I've taken the cover off. The screen's cracked. The light's broken. So that's going to have to be replaced. Screen's cracked. Not sure about that yet. Taken this wheel off. The pedal was seized, so I don't know what brakes are seized or if it's the actual master itself, but taken this wheel off, checked all the bushes. They actually look all right. Obviously it hasn't moved for 10 plus years, apart from rolled back and forwards. Tyres are all flat. The pads are 2500s, so they're basically bin worthy. Discs are okay. Springs look a bit shit. Dampers look okay, if I'm honest. They're nitrons. Not a lot of corrosion on them, but the springs are looking a bit shitty, and they're quite soft, so you have to turn the dampers right up on track to actually get any handling out of it. But this caliper freed off, no problem. I've got the CV joint to do at the back, because the last time it went out, it blew up. I think that was at Thruxton. So, new CV joint. I used a cheap like SC Motor Parts, or whatever they're called, Motor Factors part, just shit itself. So I've got an OE style one, MGF, they're the same thing, from Elise Parts. So I'm going to fit that now. I'm going to check this rear caliper. And then I'm going to have to shift this thing out away from the wall and check the other side. But like I say, that caliper is free, and hopefully it's not the master, as I don't really want to change that, but if I have to, I have to. So I'm going to rip this apart, put the new UJ in, or CV joint, sorry, and that'll be this corner basically done, I think, and then it will just be the brakes on the other side. Hopefully it's just all was slightly touch and go. Basically I had to get a pry bar in the front and just sort of push them, but they did move fairly freely. So yeah, we'll see. Right, it is up on some stands. The fuel pump didn't work. The injectors didn't work, so the injectors wouldn't fire. The fuel pump is basically stationary and will not run. I tried to trace down the fuel pump relay, but obviously it's very hard to do when the fuel pump won't spin at all. So I've now taken out the fuel tank. Right, this mess here, fuel pump absolutely doesn't work. You can see that there is pretty grimy, and all the rust is just falling off of everything. That was the bottom, goes on the very bottom of the unit where this filter goes in on the outside. You can see how much rust is there. And that was the in tank, or in sender unit filter, pretty grim. Obviously none of it works. So fuel tank's out, basically ready for the bin. Inside, masses and masses of rust. You'll be able to see it. It is just an absolute rust box. So we're going to need a new one of them as well. Pro Alloy I think it's Pro Alloy, they do an aluminium tank which is slightly larger as well, so it's only £1,000, pocket change. So that's something to cry about. So moving on. So new tank I'm going to need, because I was going to try and inhibit and remove the rust, but it's just not worth it. Interestingly, there is a little baffle and stuff in there, so apparently these do suffer with fuel starvation when going around left-hand corners. So I'd imagine it eventually drains out on half a tank. But the Pro Alloy one, I think I run their charge cooler as well, or the radiator for the charge cooler. Yeah, so their one comes baffled with fuel foam in it and all sorts of stuff. So it's a mere £1,000. It's fine. Moving on, these are like 350 or 380. So we're going to try and keep this unit. Just give it a good clean. I can put this in the ultrasonic. You can see how minging that is. There's 2 feed flaps, or 2 one-way check valves for feeding fuel in. So yeah, all of that I think I can ultrasonic clean this. I've got a type of new one of these coming. Obviously none of these parts are available. You can buy this whole unit with a standard pump in it, I guess. but obviously that's not going to keep up with the turbo. Well, I don't want to try and find out. Just going to put another, this is a GSS 340, so kind of like, you know, 400 horsepower capable, hopefully. Yeah, so clean this, sort this. The only downside to this whole setup is this this clip here. You can probably hear the rain, it's very annoying. Just goes onto there. Now, I didn't have an issue previously, obviously some 10 years ago, so hopefully I won't have an issue this time. I'll just need to get some fuel hose that's actually submersible. Back up engine bay wise, I did have the S300 in here, sold that now. This will be getting an M-Tron SL6, I think it is. Right, back up in the engine bay. I've taken the injectors out now. I've actually looped the system and completely disconnected it from the fuel rail, mainly because I want to pump fuel through here to get rid of any varnishes. But injectors came out, went in the injector testing machine. They were actually all working, but the spray patterns were a little bit janky. Obviously, they've just been, well, all that fuel's just evaporated off, basically. The S300 is gone, so that's what it was running. I've sold that on, and this will be getting an M-Tron SL6. An SL4 would fit, obviously, because it's only 4-cylinder, but the SL6 is like 50 quid more and gives me another few outputs, so we'll see. I just want to check the specs on each one. Obviously, it's only a little T28 RS off the Nissan Silvia. The exhaust probably actually needs to come off, but looking at the state of it, I don't actually want to touch it, if I'm honest. And she's got hot, she's burning back there. That'd be nice. Standard system on here. There's nothing special about it. This is actually a oversized, massively oversized ported head, which is really quite annoying, but hopefully it won't kill it too much. Basically, this head came off of another car, and it was swapped with the stock head and blah blah blah. So this is like this is a cheap Chinese inlet manifold. It was just a throw together of all the parts that I did have, because this used to have my race B16 in it, which got sold off separately years and years ago when I went turbo. RS charge cooler. Yeah, so that's, I think, where we're at, really. I need to get that seat out, all the bits. Drive shaft was all sorted now, so that's done. So I freed up all the brakes. They weren't really that much of a problem, actually. I suppose I should pump the pedal every now and then while I'm still waiting. AccuStump has still got pressure in it, so that's good. Yeah, drive shaft all went well. Solved all the problems there, so hopefully that's back in. And annoyingly, we have to glue down one of the CV joints. I don't think there's one in here to show you, but it's a tight fit. But I think we're getting there. The only other thing is a couple of headlight covers. I think I'll buy the pair and redo them. They come with these horrible sticky black things that we tried to paint yellow just to cover it up, but now it looks like a little pair of glasses. I did see someone painted the inside of this black and it looked quite smart. And we've got other black bits on the car. So we've got the front splitter, which is black, and the little side scoops, which are black. Obviously, I'm going to change these stickers. That's the old logo, although it's very similar. Yeah, I think once I get those bits done, I've got the cam belt to do. I've got a little box of goodies somewhere. Not there. Just here. So I did buy a baffled sump for it. Not that I'm going to take it out for a while, but I did get that. That's for the PS bearing spring. Yeah, so I'm going to do a cam belt change before I get one of these little bad boys. I've probably got one of these somewhere else, actually. Just to hold the camshaft pulleys. So yeah, got that to do as well. And that's all before we try and start it. And now, obviously, because I've sold the ECU, there's nothing I can just plug in. So I'm going to have to get the SL6 before I can even remotely try and start it. It should be a fairly easy thing to do. Yeah, so coming up the back, all I'm really going to do is basically cut these plugs off, pin these plugs into the SL6, and then I'll make an additional loom, which is going to have my fuel pressure. I might actually, in fact, I'm going to. I'm going to have to put in, I don't know if this has got any ports on it. Maybe I'll have to weld in some ports because I'm going to have air pressure, air temperature. I'm not going to use these or the OE stuff, and I might be able to put in a pre-throttle body pressure sensor and temperature sensor, or at least pressure sensor for throttle map torque control, but I don't know if it's even worth that yet. I can always add it later. As I say, I'm going to make up like an additional loom. We're going to have fuel pressure, oil pressure, obviously a proper knock sensor on here. A wideband, that is going to be interesting because this has got no wideband currently, and there really isn't any space to put one. As you can see, it's pretty tight in there, so it'll have to be right out the back, but there's only one small like motorbike silencer as such right in the centre, so not quite sure how we'll do that, but we're going to need wideband because I don't want to have this thing without the wideband control. And then hopefully it won't leak. But there are some little telltale signs that there might be some leakage. So once we start to run this thing up, we might end up having to get rid of that and put in a PWR one in its place or something like that. I don't really want to do any of this. I've got to be honest, I just want to get in it and drive it, but such be. Also notice that there's no cam belt cover whatsoever. And if we're going to be on track with this, I really do want the covers on it. I don't know why they're not on there, so something else to look at. And I think that is it at the minute.